subjuntivo. We're going to learn a special tense that's used for commenting on what is necessary, possible, probable, and improbable. Before we look at how to form it, let's look at when we're going to use it. And actually, you're only going to learn a small part of this, of when to use it. And when you take 2 or 3, you'll learn a lot more. In this chapter, you're only going to learn about how to use the subjunctive with certain fixed expressions. So one of the ways that you use the subjunctive is to state your opinion. Es bueno o malo, o mejor que, es importante que. Okay, that's opinion. Es increíble que. That's opinion too, but subjunctive is also used for something that's a surprise. Okay, you have a few more phrases there. Now, doubt and probability. Okay, but these are also still kind of fixed expressions, and all of these expressions are in the third person except for ojalá, wishes and hopes. Ojalá que, ojalá is really no person because that's a word that kind of substitutes for a verb. So I mentioned this in class. Don't know if you were there. But ojalá comes from Arabic, and that means insha Allah, something like that. Okay. And oh, you don't know what inshallah means, so that's like Allah willing. Okay. Allah willing, God willing, but nowadays nobody really thinks about that. We just think it means something like, let's hope that, hopefully, I wish. Okay, even though it's not a verb. Es necesario que, for wishes and hopes also. Es una lástima que. And then you have ojalá que again. Not sure why. Okay. Okay, and you have a little note here that the subjunctive of I is aya. Okay, we'll get back to that. But now, how do we form this? Okay. Oh wait. So, if you see any of these phrases, and you're going to use a verb after these phrases, the verb is going to be in the subjunctive. Okay. Es preferible que ella recicle el vidrio. Es preferible que nosotros reciclemos, que tú recicles. Okay, how do we get there? So, wow, your book has all these explanations, all these words, very, very wordy. How do you do this? How do you form these? One thing I wish they had told you is that this is very similar to this. Okay, the commands. So you have this sheet. You have this this explanation here. Okay. So now for the subjunctive, let's change that. Ooh, let's change that. Let's change that to el subjuntivo. Okay, and we're going to erase this, the tu outlier, take that out of our memory, and now you can use this for the subjunctive. It doesn't matter if it's negative or affirmative. Okay, so do that, and then now add this, yo, and yo is the same as third person singular. Yo hable, yo coma, yo conduzca. I'm gonna change the colors. Okay, what's going on? Okay, and really, if you already know the commands, you will know the subjunctive, or at least how to form it. Okay, the meaning is still not that clear, but that's all you have to do to form it. Okay, so you have this same sheet that I sent to you. Why don't you do the same thing to your document and then save it in another way? Save it under a different name. Okay. So then they have irregular forms, um, but they're not really that irregular, because really they all start with the yo form. Over here, you start with the yo form. You take off the o, then you add the endings. I've already shown you this. You've already seen this. You take off the O, and then you add the ending. You see that right here, conduzca. Okay. Spelling changes. It's already been covered. Maybe not here, but it was in the other lesson. It's the same thing. Just now you have yo, but notice that yo and usted look the same. Okay. They added a different line for él, ella, and ellos, ellas, but gosh, that looks like a whole lot of stuff you have to memorize. But really, again, if you already know this, you can figure this out in a flash, and you're done. Okay. Um, well, there are some. See, the same stem changes. You've already done that. Okay. You think about the yo form, and then you do the changes. You've done that. Okay. Same thing here. Okay. You should have already been able to do that. The irregular verbs, you already had them on the list I sent you. Okay. So now you can forget about these two command forms that have nothing to do with the subjunctive. Okay. Um, the subjunctive is like another. Um, it's going to follow different rules here. Um, let's see, irregular subjunctive. So I encourage you to do the same thing. How about completely irregular subjunctive forms? Okay, you can kind of delete all that. Dar, estar, saber, ser, ir. Say, how many differences do you find? Okay, so we erase the two affirmative from all of them. They no longer have anything to do with subjunctive, but everything else that is a command actually looks exactly like a subjunctive. Okay, okay. I did make something new here. I will send you the new mandatos document, but for saber there would be no negative command form for that, because you wouldn't tell somebody don't know this or that. Okay. Um, but I did put that there. Estar. Okay. Ir is there. So again, what do we do? For yo, that's going to be the same as the third person. Now this happens in a lot of Spanish verbs actually. The yo form and the third person form. Let's just say now we can call that él, ella also. The third person form in a lot of other tenses looks the same as the yo form. Okay, so this one no longer has to be negative. Okay, this one too. Okay, so what should the yo form for this be? Haha, same as the third person. Okay, yo de. Okay, and on and on. So you can do that to yours. Just take off the affirmatives, take the nose off of here. Okay, figure out what the yo form would be. Okay, and then really you'll be all set.